Most people getting into Airbnb right now are either barely breaking even or quietly losing money. And the reason is simple. The money isn't in the property. It's in something most people completely ignore. Airbnb is sold as passive income. Buy a property, furnish it, list it, and collect cash. But when you actually break down the numbers, you realize something uncomfortable. You're not in real estate. You're in the hospitality business. Today, we're breaking down the real economics of Airbnb, the spread, the hidden costs, and the one risk that can destroy your income overnight. At its core, Airbnb is a game of capturing the spread, the difference between fixed property costs and variable short-term revenue. Let's run the numbers. Say your total monthly cost, mortgage, utilities, maintenance is $2,500. A long-term tenant might pay you $2,800. That's a predictable $300 profit. Nothing exciting, but stable. Now here's where Airbnb looks attractive. That same property could generate $4,000 to $4,500 per month in short-term stays. On paper, that looks like easy money. But this is where most people get it wrong. Because your costs are no longer fixed, they become dynamic. Every booking comes with expenses, cleaning fees, platform commissions, supplies, maintenance, guest communication. Airbnb takes roughly 3 to 5% per booking. Then there's the hospitality tax, restocking essentials, replacing damaged items, constant upkeep. And unlike long-term rentals, your tenants don't stay. They churn, which means your furniture, your appliances, your entire space wears out faster. You're not just paying a mortgage. You're funding a continuous refresh cycle. And then comes the biggest variable of all, occupancy. Your entire profit depends on how often your property is booked. At 80% occupancy, the model works. Drop to 60%, and your profit doesn't shrink, it disappears. But your costs, they stay the same. And this is where most Airbnb gurus stop the conversation. Because the biggest risk isn't bad guests. It's regulation. Cities around the world are cracking down on short-term rentals. Why? Because they reduce housing supply. And when that happens, governments step in. This is called zoning arbitrage. You're profiting from a regulatory gap. And gaps don't last forever. If your city suddenly limits short-term rentals, your $4,500 revenue can become $2,800, but your debt stays the same. That's not a dip. That's a cliff. So is Airbnb profitable? Yes, but only if you treat it like a business, not passive income. It requires constant management, attention to detail, and understanding your market. Tools like AirDNA can help you track occupancy and pricing. But even with data, there's one thing you can't control: regulation. So before you start chasing Airbnb income, ask yourself, are you building an asset or renting a business that can be taken away overnight? If you found this useful, subscribe for more breakdowns on real business economics.